Well, hello! You're most welcome back to Gmodism channel. This is your host Eric, and today we're going to have the very epic battle with two Ultra Yamatos, Martincitopants original Ultra Yamato versus the upgraded Mark II at once. So two old Yamatos versus the new Yamato. It's gonna be a real big battle and it's gonna be very exciting. If you haven't noticed already, of course the Yamato is already out, it is on the workshop, and big thanks to all of you who made it be the first place on the Steam workshop page and also on in the game menu. Anyways, let me show you. But before that, I just want to show you this. So basically I watched Martin's stream and I just sent him a little offering in the hope that he wouldn't be angry that I basically, updated the ship and put it on the workshop. So and I was very surprised. He did respond and he likes it. Listen to this.
Gmodism. I saw a couple of the ones of you modifying the Yamato. I appreciate it. I think that's really cool. 50 hours is crazy. I'll have a look. I think I saw a thumbnail to one that you did about finishing it, and I didn't watch it. I'll have to watch it because that sounds cool. I'd love to see what you changed.
That's so amazing. Not only has Martincitopants approved that we actually upgraded it, he also saw some of the videos where we upgraded it, and he may take a look at it sometime when he has time. And that's just amazing. I hope he does like it when he looks at it. And I don't mind. It doesn't have to be online. I just want him to personally take a look at it. That would be so cool. Well, so for all of you who said that, he would dislike that I upgraded it, well, Martincitopants just proved you wrong. He likes it, and that makes me very happy that he thinks it's a cool thing. Anyways, as you probably can understand, I can't actually run this battle. Here we have the Ultra Battleship Yamato Mark II versus the Ultra Battleship Yamato old version, the one that Martin upgraded for his From the Depth playthrough. And as said, I can't really run this battle. This is graciously hosted by Chancellor Super Dave, our Government of Gmodism's only member right now. That's Chancellor Super Dave, who was very kind and has a very good computer and was able to do this recording for us. So, you are watching in real time the Ultra Battleship Yamato Mark II in front of you fighting the Ultra Battleship Yamato Mark I. And I haven't seen this battle yet. I am watching this live with you as we are commenting this. So it's gonna be very exciting to see how this battle goes down. Two Ultra Battleship Yamatos versus the upgraded version at once. This is not an easy thing to fight like this. You can see the diff civs on the Mark II. I'm gonna call my upgraded version Mark II right now. And I'm just gonna call the old version, the one that Martin upgraded, for Mark I. And obviously the Mark II is an upgrade of Mark I. Yeah. So the Mark I is lining up, both of them, doing some different flanking motion, it seems like. Seems like our Mark II is targeting different ships with the different guns. Right now, our sabot rail guns is straight going to the Mark I in front of us. One thing we did was really shorten down the lamb's distance for the Mark II, so that it doesn't waste laser power on things that is probably not going to hit. Also, by the YouTube poll, you decided that we should add mortars of Hell Rain. So we have, or Hellfire I think it was. So we basically have incendiary ram mortars being fired from the Mark II, as you could see here in the background, shells being launched, yeeted straight upwards. By the way, we're listening to music by Windows 96, and thanks a lot for letting us using your music, Windows 96, and we can use it as long as we say it. Windows 96, good music. In any case, we also upgraded the lasers a good bit for the Mark II, so it's much more powerful. It has much more engine power. And that's of course visible in terms of damage. The Mark II also has shields, and I made sure to make the shields and the lamps piss colored due to lore. Well, and obviously having shields like this, it takes tons of engine power, but it really boosts our survivability. Now, I managed to make the Ultra Battleship Yamato Mark II a tad bit more expensive. Not that much more expensive, but a tad bit more expensive. So I had to skimp a little bit on the armor we added for it. It has better armor, but not by a lot. And that's because we needed to save block count. I mean, it lags already too much that I can't even record 2 Ultra Battleship Yamato Mark 1s versus the Mark II. So in the release video, you saw that I did do the battle, but I let the Mark II phase 1 Mark 1. And then when the Mark 1 has been defeated, I spawned in a fresh Mark 1. And in that way, the Mark II defeated 2 Mark 1s. But you can see right now, the Mark II isn't faring too good. It's at 88%, whereas Team Mark 1, or Mark 1s, is at 89%. So the Mark 1s is actually in the lead right now. And the Mark 1, of course, the main weapons is kind of the same. So the Mark 1's crams actually deal more damage than the Mark 2's crams. The thing with the Mark II crams is that they are much higher health. So the Mark 2's crams isn't going to be shot down by a competent CW system like the Gimli uses. It's going to go through. That's the difference. That's how the Gimli class, no spoilers, but that video has been out for months. But yeah, check that out too. The Ultra Battleship Yamato Mark 1 versus Gimli class. Well, obviously the Gimli class defeated the Mark 1, despite Mark 1 being like more than 2 times as expensive. And that's because the Gimli class were able to shoot down the Mark 1's crams, basically, which is the main damage dealing component. The Yamato Mark II has basically, you know, the same loadout as the Mark 1, but the thing I did is that I didn't swap out the guns completely. The only guns that I swapped out completely was simple weapons, because I am of the opinion that a competent, nice battleship uses 0 simple weapons. So I removed all of them and replaced them with custom APS guns that I built. But the guns present on the Mark 1, I basically took all of those guns, put them on my platform, and I upgraded them, right? So they are better versions of the same guns. So I just basically did some fixes, increased the damage, and generally just fixed things that were a little bit off, a little bit wrong, maybe, you know, not completely optimized. I just fixed it. But in general, the weapon loadouts are the same. Well, the shells are of course modified, and well, all the guns are modified, but I didn't swap guns. That's what I'm trying to say. Now we can see that the Ultra Battleship Yamato Mark II is at 84%, and so are the Mark 1s. The battle is going pretty even right now. And the thing is that you can probably see we have a lot of cram shells coming in here, and the Yamato Mark II is able to shoot down those cram shells, but not when they come in barrages. The Mark II is able to deal with one Mark I's crams, but it's not able to deal with two Mark I's coming in at once. So that's the reason why the Ultra Battleship Yamato Mark II is having a little bit of trouble keeping itself safe. All right, so now our Chancellor Super Dave is fixing some settings here, and we'll just skip that part there and come back to the battle. And there we are. Here we are at the battlefield again with some boosted camera speed back here. That's what happens when you lock onto a shell that makes you go to space. Well, in any case, the azipods on the Mark II is completely new because I basically wanted to make it much faster. The Mark II of the Yamato is a lot more maneuverable. The Mark II is much more maneuverable. It's also a lot faster. So it has the speed, it has the maneuverability advantage as well. And that was the issue when I tried to do the battle recording in the release video, was that the Yamato Mark I's kind of collided with each other because they both have a bit of a maneuverability issue. And making a 5 million ship move graciously is obviously completely impossible. Ooh, but look at this. The Yamato Mark II is at 84%, but look at that. The Mark I in front of us seem to be able to have a little bit of a trouble fighting. And look at that. Look at that. They are sitting ducks here. The Ultra Yamato Mark I's have both ran out of materials. They are obviously quite damaged, but not having materials will make the guns not be able to reload here. Well, that's something that we fixed on the Mark II as well. We have a lot more material storage on the Mark II, so that we're able to carry a lot more material and not making starvation situations like this happen. Obviously, if you get your material boxes damaged too, that makes it so that you can't store materials as well. I can't confirm exactly what happened right now here, but I do know that the Yamato Mark I has an issue where most of the materials is stored at the same locations. We have areas where big clusters of material boxes are located, but for the Mark II, the material boxes are spread out at a lot of different places on the ships, which makes it, even if you get a really bad frag cram hit at a very sensitive location, you have backup areas. The Mark II have backup AIs. We have different AIs, so the Mark I's only have one AI. And that's a big thing, because the Mark II is able to, as you saw previously, target several enemies at once, and also they have different settings, so that the laser, for example, will engage incoming aircraft, and the grand cannons will engage big battleships, big opponents like that. Having multiple AIs is a big redundancy improvement as well. Well, 11 minutes into the battle, and the Ultra Battleship Yamato Mark II is holding its ground here. You could see that the battle kind of stagnated a little bit there at the 84% for the Mark II, and that is because it, started to be able to defend itself. When the enemies, the Mark I's, got damaged enough, they didn't deal enough DPS, damage per second, for the Mark II to be overwhelmed. Thus, the Mark II's defenses were able to take out the incoming damage pretty reliably. Now, of course, laser is nothing you can protect yourself against very well, but you can protect yourself with shields and smoke. And that's something that we added and made sure the Mark I was lacking a little bit in, but the Mark II definitely has that. Why? It is much more survivable against the laser attacks like that. Yes, indeed. Ultra Battleship Mark Is, they are just sitting there, and you can see that stopping at 84%. I actually think that the material containers on the Mark Is have been taken out. As I said, it's not my recording, so I can't confirm it, but I'm pretty sure that is the case, because usually when your own ship is getting damaged in a battle, you usually pick up your own materials, right? And when you pick up your own materials, you can see there in the upper right corner, your materials is being picked up by yourself. But if the systems are too inefficient, or if you have too little material storages to hold things with, you're not going to be able to do too much with that. So it's really important. So obviously then we do have some material boxes left. The main thing may be that the Yamato Mark I's steam engines and other systems are a little bit inefficient. So for the Mark II, we have much more efficient steam engines to propel the ship forward, to generate power. We fixed the engines that were not working due to blocked inputs, and we also have a lot of auxiliary ones as well. The regular from the depth rules are that you'll despawn under 55% in health, and the Mark I. One of them is at 57% and the other one is at 56%. Yeah. You can see this laser, this piss laser is causing a lot of fires, man. Oh, also, some of the guns on the Mark Is, the simple weapons were not connected up in a usable way. Simple weapons, so that they did not deal too much damage. You can see now the Mark Is are receiving some materials back. Oh yeah, that's right. I know why the Mark I starve themselves for material. I completely forgot. They have quite a good bit of repair bots, man. They have a good bit of repair bots, the Mark Is has. So they are using up all that materials that they are gaining back from their own blocks destroyed. They're using them up instantly to try and desperately repair random blocks that doesn't matter. So they get no material left for reloading the guns. It's kind of a beginner mistake to have too many repair bots. And like 10 is too many. You'll eat up your own material so fast. Yeah, that's it. You'll eat up your materials so fast. And that's why you starve. If you have too many repair bots, your guns are gonna starve when you go into combat and face real damage. That's it. Yeah, so in the Gimli tournament, nobody, like, okay, I have a rule of having against having too many repair bots, but if you have too many repair bots, like, you are gonna suffer. You may have an upper hand at the beginning of the battle, so you could see in the beginning of this battle that the Ultra Battleship Yamato Mark Is did have the upper hand, and that's because of that initial advantage of being able to repair your things as you go, not taking too much damage early game. But later in the battle, you starve your own systems and the battle just ends because, well, your team is just starving. Wow, okay, well that was a really cool and interesting thing to check out there. Big thanks again to Chancellor Super Dave for recording this battle for us, and of course big thanks to Super Dave, our Chancellor, for supporting the channel every month over at our homepage shop.gmodism.com, where that support option is present. We should also say big thanks to our other supporters at the Army of Gmodism's commissioned officers, most notably Admiral Dragon X62, Commanders Ben Velke and Delphin, Lieutenants Ali, Anto Cravey, Lars Dagan, Daniel Saikin, Ohm, Pyrabagreed, Vincent Veritas, Rick Prell, and Scooby Rocks. Your monthly support helps a lot. Also, thanks to the YouTube members as well. And you get early access to videos usually. Look at that, and now we should be spending a few minutes just checking out. Super Dave is showing us a little bit how to damage. You can see the upgraded laser systems inside of there. That's my Lazarus core system with like pre-armored templates, EMP insulated armored slabs of chargers. And I stick them inside of there. Having interior armor is so important to have good survivability. You can see some of the mimics for them, mortars. The custom APS guns I showed you there I added are shot off. They're the small 3x3 squares being shown. Beefed up the armor on those cram cannons a good bit, but they still, I mean, they're big, so they take some damage. And back here you see our azipods, and yeah, it's like almost most of the engine system has taken some kind of damage. Yeah, 84%. So it's alive and well, I guess, but of course 20% of the blocks have been shot off, blown off, and that of course shows you some damage. And that's the reason why it's so important with redundancy, ladies and gentlemen. Redundancy is mainly the thing that makes the Mark II beat the Mark Is. Yes, we upgraded armor, yes, we upgraded the guns, yes, the AI, everything, but the main added thing is redundancy. That basically adds the most survivability, basically. Well, awesome. Just jumping back a little bit into the battle here, the recording. At this point, you can see in the upper right corner, the Ultra Battleship Yamato's Mark Is are starting to starve. At 84%, they still try to repair a lot of unimportant blocks, and here is where they are starting to starve. Because one, the systems are kind of inefficient, so it just eats more material than it should eat, and then the repair bots is eating up the rest of the materials. And here where Super Dave got away with the camera a little bit, at this point the materials ran out completely. So when we get back here on ground, we only have like 3,000 materials left. So here we are just newly starved. Here, 8 minutes into the battle, we are newly starved. Thus, the lasers for the Mark Is is gonna be active for some good time more, because of course engine power, it requires some time before the steam pressure in the steam engines are out as well. So you got a couple of minutes of laser action actually. You can see the lasers on the Mark I up there. It's still active, and that's because we have stored steam power that powers the engines, that makes us be able to use the laser, even if we have zero materials. And But here we can see that many of the main guns here are unable to reload due to this, however, because you need materials at hand and ammo barrels to be able to reload. And that may have been an issue as well. I don't know. I can't confirm that, of course, but I do know that the Mark 1s had too many of its materials ammo boxes at located places. And the Mark 2 is frag maxing a good bit, and those frag is probably shredded many of the ammo boxes as well, meaning that the materials that are regained for getting your own blocks damaged, it's a bit cannibalistic, the method, but when your ship gets damaged, you get materials back in your material boxes and then you can reload the guns. It's weird, but that's how it works. But if your ammo boxes are damaged, well, then you really can't reload because you are kind of overwhelming them. Yeah, I just wanted to dive back there a little bit. Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed seeing the Ultra Battleship Yamato Mark II face 2 Ultra Battleship Yamato Mark 1s and win. So, I can definitely say that we promised that the goal should be that the Mark II should beat 2 Mark 1s, and it seemed we were able to deliver on this. So, wow, I'm glad that not only does the Mark II defeat one Mark I and then another Mark I, it can defeat 2 at once. And of course, you know, it's always a bit of luck involved too, so some different results may have different, some different battles may have different results. This is the reason why we always do best of 3 when we have tournaments and battles like that, because you have to really do the best of 3 to actually find out which is the best, since one ship can always win over another with a lucky hit there. But I'm happy that the Mark II is able to defeat 2 Mark Is at once. In any case, I'm so happy that Martincitopants actually likes that we did this upgrade and wants to check it out sometime when he has the time to do that. That's so awesome. And Martincitopants, if you're watching this, awesome build. I will honestly say I'm not a replica builder. I couldn't build this like Yamato main hull. I'm not a replica builder. You did a great job making like the general outline of the Yamato. So that's super cool. I just wanted to make it, well, perform as best as it can and be just a tiny little bit more glorious in its stats and effectiveness and the deco. So I hope you do enjoy my tiny little contribution to the Yamato's, the Ultra Yamato's legacy. Well, in any case, thanks to all of you who were watching, and do like the video if you did enjoy it, of course, and I'll see you in future videos. You should probably subscribe if you do like From the Depth, and up there you have the Gmodism channel too, where I actually have some more From the Depth content for you. A From the Depth 24/7 live stream is something you should definitely check out there, with actions and tutorials and all that jazz. Well, in any case, this is your host Eric, and I'm signing out. See you next time.